At Pam's advice, we're mulching with compost,
Yeah.
and I think that really helps. It helps hold the water in. It gives so much, better nutrients than you get with pine or cedar mulch.
Yeah.
Especially the further away from the house it gets, the less likely I am to do anything with it. And this year I've been so focused on the front that the back is,
Taking care of itself.
well, I've just been sort of pulling weeds and watering every now and then.
What's the flower that has the maple leaf white?
It's called a Japanese anemone.
That is an anemone.
It is.
All
and
right.
Everything on the yard, there's a lot of it.
It's very much about all of this. So it's bringing it right back into your own backyard or into the neighborhood. And a lot of it is perennials and compromise our habitat. And so now it's a question. We're never going to gain it back, but you can in little colonies and in pockets.
Yeah.
And we have to coexist. There's a lot to be said for a manageable piece of property rather than something that's larger than you. Because if you can't maintain it, then nature reclaims it.
That's right, very quickly.
Very quick.
But you're right, it's a battle to keep up with all of this.
Flowers outside the stone wall. And then about 3 years ago, she just said, what the heck, I'm taking out the whole lawn. And so what she did was she put down cardboard to, smother the lawn. And then she put these raised beds down and decided to use this white stone dust for the paths because obviously you can see she's replacing some of it now. But it does have a tendency to sort of knit together, and it kind of creates a very firm surface, so it's kind of easy to keep clean. The only drawback, she says, is that it gets on your shoes, and if you have hardwood floors when you go inside, it's not the greatest thing. But so she has tried, she actually deliberately planted these. You can see she's got the beans, I think, strung up here. She's tried hard to use vertical space where she can to give herself more growing options, and you can see she's taken out one crop already and is replanting, for a late season crop. But yeah, she harvests huge amounts of food from these beds.
Hi, I'm Betsy.
Hi, Betsy.
I live here.
Hey, great. Thanks.
I probably should have been on a farm about 10 miles out of town. In fact, when we built this years ago, I thought this was going to be our house for 2 years at the most. And then we just stayed here. So then I decided, well, I got to do other stuff, like farming stuff. So the only sun we had was in the front yard. So that's what I did with the garden. And then I did bees over there. And then I did chickens in the backyard. I've got 6 chickens. So you learn all kinds of other stuff through bees. Lee knows, that was my starting point, and then it went out everywhere. Gardening and sustainability and all the agribusiness stuff that I'm opposed to. Be sure to ask at any garden center if these have been treated or if they're organic, because if they've been treated, they're hazardous to bees, because everything, and any pollinator, because it's a systemic pesticide. And the bees will take the nectar and the pollen and they'll bring it home and they'll eat it and they'll give it to their baby bees and they'll weaken and die, which is but I think this year, especially, my immediate neighbors for maybe 2 miles around are not doing that bad stuff anymore, which is wonderful.
We also make a conscious, Elaine is very interested in flowers, particularly flowers that attract birds and bees, hummingbirds, all those other type of things. So most of the flowers we have here are with some thought in mind as to they'll attract something, like this volunteer goldenrod. You'll notice the grass is a little taller than what you would normally see in most people's yards. That's on purpose.
As it should be.
Yeah. I don't put any fertilizer or pesticide on, and we don't have weeds, we have wildflowers. Things like dandelions, when they come up in the spring, it's yahoo, because that's what the bees, that's the first thing they go for. This is my work area over here. I do take pride in something called, remember Jim Crockett's Victory Garden?
Oh, yeah.
Some of you are young enough to remember that, right? Yeah. These are Cadillac composters over here. So I'm all for like what Betsy is doing, and I think what Mike is doing, using compost for mulch as much as possible. The only catch is you got to make sure there are no seeds or weed seeds in there, otherwise you'll end up planting those. I don't mow all my grass at the same time. Usually like a third at one time. So this will be, over this side will grow for a while, I'll mow this or I'll mow that. But if you mow everything all at once, then the bees say, what's going on?
Sure. Good point.
Sure.
So you really use your lawn as your bee forage.
That's the source of food.
Exactly. See all the clover there?
Yeah.
That's good. 2 years ago, we are 5 inches behind rainfall that we had 2 years ago. And we're 2 inches behind last year. It's been a terrible year for woodchucks. And they've just been eating the hearts right out of the tomatoes.
They're thirsty.
I think that's what it is.
They're thirsty.
But this is
Yeah.
just 1/2 inch PVC.
Yeah.
And this is a 3/4 inch,
Yep.
1 foot piece of PVC. And so we'll see how well this works next year.
And this is to keep the woodchucks out.
This is to keep the woodchuck and the deer out.
Is it working?
Well, I think it is, because the woodchuck ate the tops off my carrots last night. And I did keep in the back there our Jan's Prairie, which is a cross between a black currant and a gooseberry. And apparently the crows love them, because I haven't actually harvested any of those either. That's what's left of my cucumbers after the woodchuck took them down. I have 5 cherry trees here, a Rainier and a Bing, and then 3 tarts. They've been here for about 6 years, and we've made 1 pie. Just as they ripen, you'll go out the next morning and there won't be a single cherry on the tree. So you can see it right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
And the ones right up in there. As soon as they start to ripen, yeah, they'll take the juice right out of them.
Oh,
Who does that, Dave?
What's that?
Who takes the juice right out
I
of
think they're yellow jackets. Well, I'm not sure if it was a woodchuck or deer, to tell you the
Oh
truth.
my, you got harvested.
Yeah.
What was this?
Well, it was green beans and yellow beans. I think it was a deer.
There's a deer coming over the
Yeah.
And then I can open it up and I pull up. I'm growing pumpkins out underneath it to
Oh,
keep
okay.
it up.
Wow.
But this is better.
Those are white turnips.
Yeah.
Turnips.
Yeah.
They look
They look a lot better first thing in the morning because they refresh overnight.